Hey, Melissa. This is literally my second time going live on YouTube. Daniel, what's up, man? How's it going? Yo, Caxi, what's up? How's everyone doing? Sarika, Taz, Taz. What's up, Taz? Look at my dog. We went on a hike today. Doing great. How you doing? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. What are you up to? I'm just sitting here going live. Yeah. And that's it, man. Me and my family, we went on a hike today. And we're tired. It is, I think it's like midnight. Yeah. I'm not really a vlogger, but sort of. Do you guys follow me on TikTok or Instagram at all? If you have a chance, can you give this video like a thumbs up? I don't know how you do that, but maybe at 3:20. Why are you still up? Esteban, what's up? It's 2:20 in Arkansas. Yeah, that's I'm a night owl too, man. I should probably start going to bed earlier because I don't wake up till like 10. Which, I mean, I get everything I need to get done, and, but you just feel like you have more of the day. I think I'm gonna go live on Instagram as well. I don't like going live on TikTok because for some reason, I don't know, dude. I have 500,000 followers and I get fucking 6 people in my life. It's crazy. I don't know why that is. Someone has to keep the world running when normal people. Yeah, that's true, huh? That is very true. Maybe we're the normal people. My daughter's wide awake. Hey, thank you for watching the videos. I appreciate that. That is true. Quantity does not equal quality. Very true. All right, here we go. Fucking. What? Have any of you guys signed up for my newsletter? It's completely free. So I send a newsletter out every Sunday, and it's basically like the topics that I talk about on in my videos. So if you're interested in like reading something, it's a little more personalized. Feel free. You can do that on my website, darrenrios.com. Aloha from Maui. What's up? I ain't jealous. As an inspirational person, do you know much or even discuss attachment styles and how they shape a person? I know a little bit, yeah. Um, and I talk about it. My attachment style, my girlfriend's attachment style. Um, I'm more anxious, secure. She's more avoidant, secure. Like we're pretty secure, but we both have a past, and that comes up sometimes in our relationship. So, um, and sometimes it comes up in a way that has nothing to do with either of us, right? So, like, well, for instance, like I'll say something and she'll hear it through a lens of the past, and vice versa. And she'll say something and I'll hear it through the lens of my past, right? Sorry, I'm holding two phones, trying to fucking get comfortable. Good lord. And understanding when I'm doing that is key. And understanding, okay, if I'm having an anxious attachment behavior, I need to be aware of that and I need to take responsibility for that. I need to handle that and not act upon it. And sometimes because of my past and a lot of shit that's happened to me, I have PTSD, like extreme PTSD. And so what that causes me to do sometimes to be compulsive. And if I don't get a hold of my compulsive behavior when I feel a strong emotion, such as anxiety, um, I'll act upon it, right? It'll disrupt my peace. And so if my girlfriend does something that causes me to feel anxious, and she might not even be doing something wrong, it might trigger something in me, or maybe a situation, something, or whatever. And if I'm not aware of it, my PTSD will cause me to act upon it even more so. Um, and so not only am I fighting against, not fighting, but managing my PTSD, but I'm managing the responses that come along with that. So, for instance, say I didn't have PTSD and I just had an anxious attachment style. Okay, I would only have to be aware of my anxiousness and then regulate that anxiety. And so, because I have PTSD, I have to regulate the anxiety and I have to regulate the compulsion to act upon my anxiety. So I'm regulating my PTSD, my compulsive disorder, if you will, from the PTSD. I wouldn't say it's a disorder, it's just a compulsion. Maybe it's a disorder, I don't know. And then I have to regulate my anxiety. And so somebody asked, how do I stay grounded? Um, I think understanding that this might sound morbid, but we're all gonna die, and we all have this opportunity to experience life. And so, knowing that we're gonna die one way or another allows me to let go of that fear of trying to control everything in life and have everything perfect. And if I miss any of your questions while I'm talking, please, not me, I'm avoiding death. Please ask them again. But the way that I stay grounded is understanding like awareness, like practicing awareness. All right, I'm aware that I'm gonna die and that what I'm experiencing now is a byproduct of my past that I'm letting go. And I can either let it control my now or I can I can decide, like I have a choice how I want to act right now in this moment. And so understanding that principle allows me to regulate myself when I get dysregulated because of my past. So um, I can accept things, I can process things, I can let them go, I can feel very intense emotions, um, and I can continue. And so, hey, what's up, Jay Sparks? So you know, the shit that keeps me grounded is understanding like this is all just an experience, and I get to shape how I want to continue experiencing it. And it doesn't have to be determined by the strong emotions that I feel in certain situations based off of my past. I can regulate those emotions, I can learn from them, and I can grow, and I can use that experience to help other people do the same thing versus just being a victim of like, oh, I'm just an anxious person and I struggle with depression and I do like all that shit. The difference between me and other people, most people, is that I don't let it make me a victim. I let it teach me so that I can get better at it, so that I can help other people through it who feel like they can't make it through, because I know that it feels like you can't make it through when you are stuck in that depression or anxiety, and I know how it feels. So I'm trying to, I'm on YouTube live as well, though the difference, it sucks with YouTube because the chat disappears. I have to like swipe up. Understanding the emotions are fleeting, so no need to sulk in them. Yeah, that's a really good point. All right, somebody said regulate is a great word I need to do more of. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, you make regulation a habit. Thank you for explaining this. How do we not let our negative sides of attachment styles affect our children negatively and in damaging way to their futures? Is it just inevitable that it may? That's a really good question. Hold on, somebody asked me something over here. I mean, like the morning. How is tone affected in both attachment styles? I'm not sure what you mean. Their work is great. I feel like rushed. Maybe I didn't communicate it, but man, this is stressful. Yeah, man. I know it can be stressful. Um, I help a lot of my clients navigate the creative process and hiring people, and I vet people that they hire. So because I've done all those creative jobs, I know who's legit and who isn't, and how to communicate with people in that world. I mean, like in the morning is usually bad for me. It's great when I don't have anyone around me. It's when I'm around others that I get triggered. I'm not sure what you mean. All right, sorry Instagram, I keep missing your comments. Can you help with time management for ADHD? Yes, I'm actually gonna put together a what I use, and I made this schedule for myself. That's really really helpful. And because I have ADHD, I can't do the whole structured thing where it's like at 9 a.m. you do this, at 10 p.m. you do this, like or at 10 a.m. you do this. No, like it's here's what needs to be done during the day. Here's some like blocks of time between 9 and 11. This is what you're doing. Between 11 and 2, this is what you're doing, right? And so that helps me because if I ever feel scattered, I just pull up my phone, open my notes, and look at that. Yeah. So if I have I have a whole ebook on anxiety and conquering anxiety. If you hit the link in my bio, you can get it there. There's also I have an ebook on setting healthy boundaries and saying no without feeling bad about it. Because as we all know, trying to set boundaries for people who have trouble setting boundaries is typically because they don't like to say no without because they just feel like shit every time they say no or they try to set boundaries. So this ebook will help you, figure that out in every situation from your workplace to your friendships to your family, stuff like that. So don't hesitate to check that out. Um, you know, some of you guys have asked me about coaching with me. You might not be able to afford to work with me one on one, but that's fine. I also have an email course, which is like you just coach yourself. You can email once a week, packed with information. You run through it at your own leisure and coach yourself. So there's all of that stuff in the link in my bio, just DarrenRios.com. Why so dark? Because it's midnight and my baby is going to bed, and that's why. Yeah, my brain turns on at like, if I don't go to bed before 2 or 3, my brain is like going, dude. Spiritual assault or harassment, is this real or possible? Spiritual assault or harassment? Give me an example. All right, hold on. I'll be right back. But give me an example. I. What did I miss? All right. I'm fearful that my disorganized attachment style will affect my child negatively. Oh, okay, hold on. Maybe not now, but down the road. What's a disorganized attachment style? Maybe not now, down the road. I now see where my parents' dysregulated emotions messed up my siblings. Bro, tell me about a scenario like you love someone and at the same time. I don't know. So, look, all you can do is be aware of your attachment styles, be aware of your shortcomings. Look, I don't know shit about raising children. I just had a daughter. I'm 3 months into fatherhood, and you know, I pretty much raised my little brothers. It's a cross between anxious, secure, and insecure. Okay. So, overcome fear in unrealistic scenarios. Stand by with that question. Ask me that question in a minute if I forget. But when it comes to your children, the only thing you can do is know how to apologize, admit when you're wrong. Let them be who they are, and encourage them, and apologize. Apologize and just try to be better, and try to apologize quickly. Don't fuck up and then 3 weeks later be like, you know what, I shouldn't have talked to you like that. Or 2 days later. No, quickly. Quickly. I don't like to have any like animosity or any aught between me and my girlfriend. And if I do something and she feels a way about it, I have to listen to that. Right? Now, I have to be quiet sometimes because I have to be like, wait, hold on, let me get past my emotions. Because maybe she's right about something. And then I have to like process that, right? But the sooner that the more aware you become, the more you practice regulating, the better you get at it. After having 4 ages 22, 2, honesty is key and always available for them when they want to talk. Yeah. Yeah, one thing I know for myself is like, I want my daughter to always feel safe. Like, yeah, I'm your father. Yeah, I'll guide you. I'm not here to punish you. Your own mistakes will do that. And you'll make mistakes. And those mistakes will punish you. But I'm not here to punish you. And so yeah, there's consequences, stuff like that you have to face. But punishing a child for making a mistake is the fucking worst thing you can do, in my opinion. Yeah, man, it's difficult. It's difficult letting, like, even some of my clients, like, I have to let them fail. I have to let them make their mistakes, right? So if I'm working with somebody and they're bent on doing something their way, okay, give it a shot. Even though I know it's not gonna work, I already know what's gonna happen. I have to let them. It's like I can't sit there and tell them that the stove is hot and then them tell me, yeah, but I just want to touch it. And then me say, no, don't do it. It's like, okay, you're gonna get burned. I know. Well, we'll see. I just want to touch it. Go touch it. Psst, they burn themselves. Okay. Ah, fuck. No, I told you so, but what did you learn? That was me for so many years, and still is me at times. Like, I had to learn the hard way. I had to. And every time somebody tried to like control me or whatever, it just made it worse. I want to break this. The trauma bonding the cycles of my daughter. I guess it's unrealistic because she, her own trauma in time, in her own life. Yeah, you can't. Everybody has trauma. Everybody. It's whether they're aware of it or not. And you can't protect your children from bad things happening. You can't protect anyone. Really, like there's so much you can do, but at the end of the day, if something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And so, what do you learn from it? You know, the last thing you want to do is instill shame in somebody that you love, be it a significant other or a child, when they make a mistake. That's that's why we are in the world is in the condition it is in, you know. And there is chaos in the world, and it's not all chaos. I'm not being like a nihilist, whatever, but I'm just saying like is because at the end of the day, when man chose to turn from God, they they shamed, they stuck themselves in shame, and they hid, and man has been doing that ever since, and that's why there's crazy shit that in the world, and darkness, and just bad things because shame, shame, shame in a human being is the ultimate disconnection from source, from God, and it's not God disconnecting, it's us with deep shame. So anyway, I saw the angel and marvel and get free. Yeah, I like that. That's good. I was accused by spiritual harassment by. I don't know. That sounds weird, Fred. Somebody's accusing you of fucking with their energy. It's impossible. You can't fuck with anybody's energy unless like as people with a weak mind. How do we reconnect from shame? You have to learn how to forgive yourself and know that God doesn't see you through the lens of shame and guilt and vengeance. When God came to be a man, when God came to the earth and lived as a human, and then set the example for what it means to be a human, to reconnect with him again, that was Jesus. When that happened, he said, I'm going to show you what it means to be human again in connection with me, and you can take it or leave it. But because I'm doing this, if you believe me and you trust me, you will, one, be given a new mind, a new spirit, a new understanding. This is the whole born again thing that Christians talk about. And I will forgive you. You will be forgiven. You will have a clear conscience, and you'll be forgiven. And I'll no longer see anything. There will no longer be a disconnection. Do you recommend specific scripture for that? Yeah, I mean, this is, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, himself, that whosoever believes him will have everlasting life. Though that your flesh may die, you will not. And there will come a time when we all come back. And yeah, I don't know how that's gonna look. Might be in a few thousand years. But yeah. And so that's what it is, man. And not on some like corny Christian, cheesy, like pulpity bullshit. Like the science, man. It's wild. Do you believe in healing stones and tarot cards, or strictly biblical teachings? No, I believe that the human mind is capable of healing the body. And so it's not necessarily biblical teachings, it's actual science. The Bible, which is an accumulation of scriptures written thousands of years ago, it just talks about the power of the mind. And when it talks about healing and stuff like that, this stuff is real, man. So they did a study. So the guy who invented the polygraph, I think that's what it's called, the lie detector machine, he, when science meets spirituality, he did a test on a plant. He's like, he hooked up the things to a plant, and he said, okay, I need to elicit a response, like a traumatic response out of this plant, right? Because the way that the polygraph reads if you're lying or not is if you have an elevated heart rate, or if, like, you know, the electrical impulses in your nervous system are spiking, right? Due to a threat. So he hooked up the plant, he hooked the things to a plant, and then he's like, okay, what do I do to get a response out of the plant, a reading? And he said, oh, I'm gonna burn it. I'm gonna light a match and I'm gonna burn it. Immediately, when he thought, I'm gonna burn this plant, the polygraph started going haywire. Yeah, this is a real study. You look it up. And then when he went to go get the matches, he came back, it was still going. He thought it was a glitch. It was still going. And then he was like, okay, I'm not gonna burn the plant. Like, I'm not. And it chilled out. And so what this showed, he did this with fruits and vegetables and any like living like organism, right? Like anything that's like alive. So, you know, all the same, his intention towards the plant sent the plant, like the cells in the plant were reading his intention. Now they've done studies, and you can do this. Get a jar of rice, 2 jars of rice, label 1 love and 1 hate, and every day say something hateful to the jar of hate and something loving to the jar of love, and watch what happens in a matter of weeks. Watch what happens to each of the jars. The same thing with plants. You speak to plants, you have intentions for plants, they feel that. They even communicate under the ground, like in the rainforest and shit. Like if there's a tree that's suffering and doesn't have nutrients, it will get nutrients from from its community. Rice lives matter. So, yeah. There's a story about Jesus when he's walking and he, I think he like cursed a fig tree or something, and it died. Like, this is real shit. This shit's been happening for thousands of years. Now there's science, like all this spiritual, so-called spiritual shit. First of all, everything is spiritual. There's no spiritual and then science. Like, it's all spiritual or it's all scientific, whatever you want to call it. Trying to find the Ark of the Covenant. Did you see where the? No, I feel like I've heard about that though. Words are powerful, but intention is more powerful than words. Because some people are like, oh, don't say fuck. The word fuck has no power. It's my intention behind the word. Now, I can sit and be like, and I know this because my dog, good Lord, if I'm frustrated and I say fuck, my dog gets like if I'm doing something like, oh, fuck. You know, don't act like y'all don't do that shit. If my dog is near me, she kind of gets like, okay, I'm gonna walk away. But if I'm excited, I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome. She gets excited, like she's happy. It's the intention, it's the energy behind the words that you use. And that ain't some woo-woo energy super spiritual bullshit. It's literally the energy and the intention that you're using behind the words. Yeah, plants do communicate. Posh, if you say you hate your life, stop saying that shit. Stop saying that. Look, okay, I want to do an experiment with you guys. I don't know if you have done this before or whatever. But listen, I want you to take a second right now and close your eyes or not, just visualize. I want you to vividly visualize a lemon. Just a juicy lemon. And you have it in your hand, and it's been sliced already. It's just this big chunk of lemon. And I want you to visualize taking a huge bite out of that lemon. Just bite into it. Okay. Now, you might have experienced like a tingling in your jaw, like a tingling sensation, or maybe your mouth watered, or your jaw just clenched up, or you felt some sort of sensation. Maybe not, but most people do. Your brain does not know the difference between what is imagined and what is actually happening in this plane of reality, okay? And I won't get into it, but your brain is where reality begins. And so if it can't distinguish between what is in this plane of reality and what is in actual reality, like in your, like what's happening in your imagination, and you say things to yourself like, I'm so stupid, I'm a fucking idiot, I hate my life, I'm depressed, I am, whatever you're attaching, your brain is taking like, okay. Listen, the words you speak to yourself and about yourself are the most important words you can ever speak. So be mindful of how you speak to yourself and about yourself. This is not a joke. This is not some whimsical bullshit. I'm telling you. Yeah, your subconscious mind runs 95% of your day. And if you're not paying attention to what's being fed to it, because it's just absorbing shit. If you say shit like, oh, I hate my life, your subconscious mind goes, I hate my life. And guess what? It's gonna start creating habits and actions and getting you to act in a way that makes you hate your life. Why? Because you hate your life. So that is your reality. So you need to keep perpetuating that reality. And your subconscious mind will do that for you. Because it's the program that you're giving it. Words last forever, yeah. I swear to God, this shit is so true. And I used to be like a realist and cynic. Me too. You want to go for the past year and a half, 2 years, I have 100% seen the true power of the fucking mind. Yeah. 1000%, dude. Me too. I was a cynic. I used to be like, okay, yeah, okay. People are like, don't talk to yourself like that. I'm like, what? Dude, I don't mean it. I don't mean it. And then, sure enough, I hit these fucking major roadblocks in my life. I'm like, what is happening? And it's like, oh, the way I speak to myself. Massive depression. I mean, crippling depression, where I'm like, I'm not getting out of bed. I'm not getting out of bed. All because of the shit that I was believing about myself, because the way I would speak to myself and talk to myself, like shaming myself, especially when I was like a part of this fucking church that I was a part of, like, and all this bullshit shame that they inadvertently would make you feel. Nobody makes you feel anything, but when you're unaware, you tend to feel things through nuance. You're welcome, Damien. Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys for being here. And so, not that I'm against church, because I believe in community and all that stuff. I don't believe in the political system of the business model that people call the church. I don't believe in that. And I do believe that pastors and speakers should get paid. I don't care if they're rich, whatever. There's nothing wrong with money. What's wrong is the manipulation of desperate souls for capital gain. And there's all kinds of shit in that system that causes people to feel shame and guilt and just this like oppressive, like I have friends that are just like, I am nothing and God is everything. It's like, I am just a sinner. I don't deserve anything good. And it's like, well, if that's what you believe, imagine having a child and then they walk around being like, acting that way. No, I don't want these Christmas gifts. I'm a bad child. I ate all the cookies. Or something like, I made a mistake. I made too many mistakes in my past. I pooped my pants when I was a baby. I shit my diaper, and now that I'm older and I know that that's not how I was supposed to be, I don't deserve anything good. It's like, you were a baby. You didn't fucking know. Like, let that shit go, dude. They fucking crucify themselves for no goddamn reason. It's called God-fearing for a reason. Yeah. But that term is just so misinterpreted. It's like, to fear God is not what you think. Not like, oh, I'm so afraid. No, it's to know. It's to know that you're not God, but you are an extension of God. You are a projection of God. And in that, you know your place. Because you're not God. You know? And so it's like a respect. It's not a fear. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. How can we be empowered and feel confident enough to say, I love my life, despite not being where I want to be? Do we just trust where God has placed us? I highly recommend that you read the book Psycho-Cybernetics. You can listen to it for free on YouTube. But what I would say is, how do you feel empowered to feel confident enough to say, I love my life? You need to sit down and write out what do you need to do in order to have a life that you love? And you need to start taking action towards that. And as you take action, when you're not taking physical action towards that, you need to speak to yourself. How do you need to speak to yourself? You need to say things that are going to cause you to feel a little delusional. And you're going to feel like you're lying to yourself. But you're not. What you're doing is you're feeding the program of your subconscious mind. And at first, it's going to feel like, what the fuck? And say things like, I love my life. And say it over and over again until you fucking feel it. Even if it's an inkling of a feeling, like I love my life. I love it. I love my life. Be grateful. And then keep doing that until you get better and better at it. And you'll start seeing the fruit. And if you need help too, I mean, we can always work together, but listen to, God, I have so many different tools, but like listen to affirmations. I'm telling you, when I first started listening to affirmations, I felt like I was a fucking psychopath. Like, this is so bullshit, dude. Like, what am I doing? This is so weird. Like, I don't believe any of the shit that it's saying. And then I started noticing that my temperament was different, and my behavior was different, and the way I felt about myself was different. And I felt, I don't know, I just felt like a new person. This shit works, man. And I listen to them when I go to sleep, before I go to bed at night. And then when I wake up, I listen to them. I was enjoying that soapbox. That's funny. What kind of church did you attend? It was a Pentecostal church in Orlando called Faith Assembly. It's a mega church out there. And then when I moved to Houston, I joined Joel Osteen's church. I don't have anything bad to say about Joe or anybody there. But what I disagree with is the political systems and all that kind of stuff. I don't believe in that. I don't believe it's biblical. And then when I moved to LA, I joined Mosaic Church, and then, you know, that was a great experience. And then it wasn't. It was just fucking, it became a shit show. But I learned a lot, and I met a lot of great people through all of it. And that's not to say that these people are like evil people or whatever, but I just highly disagree with them in their business practice. Why does the Bible always say, do not be afraid? Satan is an actual one of the most beautiful angels. How scary are some of these angels? Ugh, here we go. Angels are beings of energy. They don't have form like human beings. They can take form, but they exist in a realm that's outside of ours. So if they want to enter this realm, they can. If they, how do you put it? They're forces of energy. And so when the prophets were talking about these visualizations and these visual representations of angels, this is my opinion, okay? To like take it with a fucking grain of salt. But truth is truth. If it resonates, then fuck, cool. It was their interpretation of the energy in which they were experiencing. There were visions that they were seeing, right? And so Satan is, first of all, not the name of this. Satan is a descriptive term. It's like messenger almost, like the Satan. Lucifer is not even mentioned in the scriptures. Right? So it's like, some people don't even believe that there's like the devil, right? Because the devil is not the name either. It's not. It's not one person. Devil is uh, is a descriptive term, right? You guys really want to know how well, like, there's this dude named Tim Mackey who explains this shit so well in like 45 minutes. Go on YouTube and or hit me in the DMs and Instagram, and I'll send you the YouTube link. Changed my whole fucking life. And he's a pastor. He's like the nerdiest white dude you'll ever hear speak about the Bible. But he's a biblically trained scholar, like a Hebrew scholar, like white dude who speaks Hebrew, like he knows what he's talking about. I don't need any design done, no. It says he says he. That's funny. Timothy Mackey. So the Bible Project. He has this YouTube channel called the Bible Project. But yeah, like even hell, like hell's not this place that you go. It's a state of being, right? But of course, most of these Christians, they pander this. You're gonna go to this place called hell. No, it's a void. Hell is a place. It's a void. Part of me, like I've had experiences where I feel like I've been there. Not a good place. Like you, if you ever experience it, you lose your mind, and that is not a fun feeling. Of a void, of being in a place of nothingness. Not even God is there. It's the most terrifying, undescribable state of being. What do you know are the concept-born sinner? What do you mean? Sorry, I'm just trying to say hi to everybody because I'm not doing that. Hey, Sunny, side up, what's up? Hey, thanks for answering. I'm also attending a church, but I don't feel right with their modus operandi if formations do work. Yeah. I don't encourage anybody to go to church. And if you do, don't go thinking like it's some holy place. Like it is a business. And the pastor and all his team and everybody, they are all there to make money. Okay? And they will speak and they might learn something and you might meet great people. Treat it like a social gathering, right? But even then, it's like, go learn for yourself. And I highly recommend that you listen to people like Rob Bell. His Everything is Spiritual lecture on YouTube. It's free. And Timothy Mackey. Listen to these two people. Start there. Yeah, you can have, I mean, we're having church right now. I got 20 people on here and 13 people on here, right? I'm a believer. I've been born again. I have the Spirit of God that lives in me, that guides me, that teaches me, that speaks to me, right? I have an authentic relationship with the Almighty. It is my foundation of who I am and the grounding of my mind. It is what allowed me to experience what I believe was hell and still keep my sanity. It is my foundation. People are like, oh, how do you stay grounded? My relationship with the Almighty. I don't know much. I don't know much, but what I do know, I believe to be true. And I believe that truth speaks for itself because I believe that God is truth. And when truth is spoken, God is in it, and lives get changed. How do you come back after backsliding? I had a dream of heaven and Jesus. Most pure feeling I've ever experienced. Shit, I had an experience today that was wild as fuck about what happens to us when we die. Amen, brother, you're true in the words it shows. I appreciate that, man. How do you come back after backsliding? Here's the thing. There's no such thing as backsliding. So I hate that term. It's used to shame people. There's nothing you can do that surprises God. Not a fucking thing. And so to assume, oh, I've backslidden. You think God is like sitting in the opposite room waiting for you to come and apologize to him with his arms crossed and be like, well, you're backsliding. You need to come and say sorry. No. Acknowledge it to yourself when you're not close, when you're not doing the inner work that's required to keep you connected to God, to Source, in truth. And get back on it. That's it. Just get back on it. There's no fucking process where you have to go and slaughter a fucking lamb like they used to have to do in the old days and like show these fucking massive symbolic gestures of forgiveness. No, it's been done. You don't have to do that. You just have to be like, oh fuck, I fucked up, but you know what? I need to get back up. That's it. That's literally it. Nothing else. Why? Because God came, lived a human life so that we didn't live the perfect human life, so that we would have the example needed to be reconnected with him through Christ. That's it. That's where forgiveness comes from. So forgive yourself every single fucking time. If you want to hear God, just shut the fuck up, go somewhere, and just be with your thoughts. And you'll know when the Lord is revealing things to you. That's it. You'll know. Today it was happening to me on a fucking hike in the middle of, like, I was just spending time with my family. We were on a hike. I was like jumping over this river. I was like trying to like throw rocks in this like stream so that people can cross and shit. And like, I just got this massive revelation. And I was like, damn, dude. I told my girls, like, I feel like God is speaking to me right now about this whole situation. And it's just like, God is always speaking. It's, are you listening? And he's not going to yell because he's in the whisper. Hey, Darren, love your content. How do you stop negative thoughts? They really stop the discipline working and take over me. The moment I realize I'm faking it, or sort of ruins everything. Faking it? What do you mean faking it? Faking what? So here's the thing with thoughts and negative thoughts. First, you need to understand you are not your thoughts. You are the energy that gives your thoughts power. And if you're the one that gives your thoughts power, you don't have to give power to any thought that is negative. And because you're the one that gives power to thought, you can choose what kind of thoughts you want to have. Power. So if a thought comes in, you can say, do I want to give this thought power or not? And if no, then you need to think, okay, well, what thought do I want to give power to? Okay, this thought. Okay, good. For instance, they haven't texted me back. They probably fucking pissed off, or maybe they think that I'm like this, or maybe they think that, and you start getting anxious. Now you're all in your head about your negative thoughts. Oh, see, I always fuck this one up. I always fuck this one up. Ugh, I should have said this. I should have. No, I don't want to have that thought. That's my anxiety, right? So what do I want to have? I'm okay. I'm safe. Maybe they're busy. They'll get back to me. And if they don't get back to me, I'm okay. I'll just follow up with them. Okay, that's way more peaceful than ruminating on what ifs, right? And you make this a practice. This isn't something that just happens one time. This is something that you practice and you get good at it. By faking it, I meant that you have to pretend to be what you want first, which also happens through will and discipline. No. You don't fake anything. You be it. You just be it. Let me tell you a story. I had always wanted to be a painter. And I had never done it. I kind of tried and I just kind of gave up. And so one day, I was about to get evicted from my apartment in Hollywood. I lived in this 10 by 10 apartment in Hollywood, and I couldn't pay my $600 rent. And so I got a 3-day notice. And I was like, fuck. I don't know what to do. But I can't sit here and stress out. Maybe something will happen. Like, I don't know. I'm supposed to be here for a reason. Fuck it, I'm just gonna paint something right now. So I got all this painting supplies that I had in my closet that I never used. And I sat down and I started watching YouTube videos and I started painting. I felt like a phony. I felt like, come on, Darren, graphic designer, brand designer, fashion designer, photographer. Now you're a painter. Nah, you're not a painter, come on. And I was like, I'm gonna post these on Instagram. But I was like, nah, because people are gonna be like, what are you, a painter now? Just like they did when I was a photographer. When I bought my camera and just started doing photography, people were like, what are you, a photographer now? I'm like, no, I just like taking pictures. So I painted what I could, and I said, you know, fuck it. I posted it on Instagram. I was like, I guess I'm a painter now. Or I tried my hand at painting or some shit like that. That week, I sold over $1,000 in paintings. I had never painted in my fucking life, other than just like kind of fucking around. And then I started getting commissions. And I became a painter. I wasn't faking anything, I was just doing. Faking implies that there's some sort of hidden motive. I'm faking, right? I'm faking that I love you. I'm faking that I'm your friend. I'm faking that I really care about what you care about. And then there's actually being. So, you want to be a stockbroker? All right, cool. learn what you need to learn, and go broke some stock. I don't fucking know. But the moment you do it, you become it. So this idea of feeling like a fraud, that is just discomfort because you're not familiar with the behavior. That's not you faking it. This imposter syndrome stuff, it's not you faking it. You're not an imposter. You're just not comfortable. So keep doing it. Don't fake it till you make it. Keep doing it until you get comfortable doing it. That's it. I don't know if I went on a tangent or if I answered your question, but hopefully, look, I understand. I know how this feels. The same shit when I was doing photography when I first started. That's why I had to get the fuck out of my hometown, because everybody was like, "Oh, you're a photographer now? Okay." I'm like, "Yeah, I want to move to Hollywood. I want to work with celebrities and I want to work with multi-billion-dollar brands." I'm like, "Okay, good luck with that." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And I came and I did it. Without an agent, without a manager, just by myself with a shitty ass camera. You know, when I shot with Johnny Depp, you know what kind of camera I shot on? A fucking Canon 5D with a shitty ass Sigma lens. That camera was probably worth $500. Yeah, man, I'm glad you had a chance to talk to me live too, you know? I know a lot of people don't really have the means to work with me one-on-one, and I understand that. That's why when I come live, I try to answer your questions as thoroughly and as much as possible. You know, and I appreciate that. I try to let people know about the stuff that I have to offer as far as products, and my ebooks, and then the free stuff that I have, and my free newsletter, and, you know, I have a ton of free stuff, you know. So I do appreciate you guys being here. 35 still believe I'm going to be a famous actress and rapper and podcaster. Yeah. And here's the thing, look, I'm 36, about to be 37 next month. If you ever want my honest opinion on, like, I'll tell you from experience. I work with people all the time who want to be rappers and singers and pop stars. There needs to be a balance of like a realistic balance. Now, I don't know you from Adam, but when I decided to paint, I knew that I could, because it was just a matter of figuring out how to mix colors and then kind of find your own style. When I wanted to do photography, I knew I already had a knack for it. I just needed to get good at the basics. When I auditioned for America's Got Talent, I was like, there's a good possibility I could do this. I can play guitar, I can sing, I can write my own music. You know, I'm not that bad looking. Maybe I can do something, right? I didn't succeed. I didn't make it past the first audition. But I found a way to write music and become my own artist and produce my own music, you know. However, being successful at that is a whole different story. But anyway. Yeah, I think, and here's the thing, it's like, I was doing all these things thinking I could do them all at once, and you can't. I know right now for myself, I'm gonna get back into the music artist thing. I'm going to. It's a passion of mine, it's something I care about, it's something that I love doing, and I'm gonna do it. And so I have music on Spotify. My artist name is Rome Bazaar. And so I produce and write and do all my own shit. And sorry, I had to push up my glasses with my thumb because I'm holding I'm holding a phone in each hand. But what I do for people as a coach and a consultant is who I am. It is the core. If this is all I ever did with my life, I would be happy, right? So now it's like, okay, cool. I've been doing this for the past few years, getting my business structure up. Now that it's getting up, I can. Sorry, somebody sent me a text. I can start focusing more time on my other projects, right? But trying to do them all at once is not possible. Trust me. But yeah, man, you have to affirm yourself. You know what's really powerful is looking yourself in the mirror and speaking to yourself how you needed to be spoken to when you were a kid. Or when you're going through something rough, looking at yourself in the mirror and speaking to yourself like your best friend. How would your best friend, most confident best friend, speak to you in that moment? How would they encourage you? I fucking dare you guys to do this. It'll change your whole life. People always try to shame or discourage. They love to say things like, "What? You're numb?" Yeah, it's a remark meant to derail your enthusiasm. Alter ego, yeah. 8-year-old son. Why is that a hurdle? I am awesome. Now let your mirror hear you say why you're awesome. In what ways are you awesome? Be more specific. Your brain is listening. All right, I'm about to get off of here because I am fucking tired. It's 1:33. As far as the path that I've been on, I'm having the hardest time just him, my relationship with him. Are you trying to be his mom? You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, you can, if you, I don't answer questions in the DMs. That's why I come on here. I don't talk to people in private unless we're working together. This is what I do for a living. So please don't try to send me a DM that's like, it's no offense. I just don't have the time to respond to people's DMs and answer their questions in the DMs. But if you do want to work with me, hit the link in my bio. It's the first button right there. And it'll just ask you a few questions before we ever get on a call. It was a pleasure. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks, Fred.